Hello. Sorry, it has taken ages to get this started this afternoon. I've pressed the button like 200 times. And look at me leaning all over the kitchen bench. Today, and I don't know if I've got the computer, the thingy, you might have to just get my boobs, not my head, but anyway. Hello Rachel, gorgeous girl. Today I'm cooking tuna bake. Now I'm just getting my apron all organised. Look at me being all organised with an apron. But before I get started, I wanted to show you my very groovy earrings. They're kind of at loggerheads with my Kath Kitson very sort of mumsy apron, but I wanted to show that I am still a tiny bit funky and groovy. Hey Jodie, how are you, gorgeous girl? So tonight we are cooking the most super easy dish of all time. I have nothing in my kitchen, nothing in my fridge. So you know you have those days where you've gone, God, I've got nothing in the fridge. Nothing in the fridge. Thanks, Sheena. I kind of love them too. So I've fossicked around and I'm digging out something and I'm making a tuna bake, a no recipe tuna bake. So feel free to write down the recipe. Hey, gorgeous Susan. But it almost doesn't matter what you put in. You know how I always tell you I never do any prep? Well, today I did a little bit of prep because I figured you didn't need me to show you how to open a can of tuna. But that's basically what I've got here. I've got a can of tuna. I've just got the one in spring water. Now, when you're getting your tuna, you can buy olive oil, but it's pretty rare. Most of them are olive oil blends, and if it says in oil, it's usually canola. Yes, Carrie, I do. I have an apron. I decided the apron, well, I was feeling a little vulnerable in my very pale pink top because I thought if I splash something on it, it's going to be really obvious. I can't sort of hide it in all my array of colours, and I'm not a very neat cooker, stirrer, or anything along those lines. So what I'm going to tell you though, I have opened, so you know I say to you I don't do any prep. Well, I have done 2 bits of prep. I have opened the tin of tuna, and I've also got my packet of cauliflower out of the freezer, and I've banged it on a tray in the oven. I did that about 15 minutes ago, just so that the tuna bake is going to be cauliflower on the bottom. Hey Tara, how are you? Because there's no pasta, obviously, in our tuna bake. So it's cauliflower on the bottom, and I am inventing a tuna sauce with what I had in the fridge. So I normally have cream cheese. I didn't have any cream cheese. So I've got the tuna, so I'm just going to pop that in my bowl. I'm trying to do a little squat down today because otherwise, as I said, I'm a little close to the camera and you'll get a lovely view of my neck, and that's it, and my nostrils. So I'm just doing a bit of bending down. So basically I've opened the tin of tuna, aka looks like cat food. That's fine, we're on to that. Then I figured I'm going to put a bit of ricotta in, and I like ricotta. It's quite creamy. And I'm actually just going to whack the whole thing in. So I figure you can't go wrong with the sauce, can you? You're actually watching it live, Kathy, yay! Hey Robin, how are you? So again, I don't need to get a clean spoon because I'm just whacking the whole thing in. So I've got my ricotta, and I'm feeling so dreadfully organic today, girls, because I went to my fridge to get out my trusty packet of cheese and didn't have any. Like seriously, people go, oh, what do you prep for your cooking? Honestly, nothing. I really and truly, this is the whole idea of real cooking, I really just go to my fridge and go, what is there? So there was no cream cheese. There was ricotta. So that's good. And I've got a little bit of sour cream. So I reckon there's about 1/8 of a thing in here. In fact, I'll measure it. And I'm just going to put that in. I'd probably put a bit more in. So what is there? 1, 2 tablespoons. I reckon if I had 4 tablespoons, I'd probably whack that in. So I'm just mixing this up together. And I have here some cream. Now, people often wonder what cream I buy. I buy this brand. I don't know, again, the lighting's rubbish because I'm under a light. It's Dairy Farmers. There's nothing else in it. It's just cream. It comes in a container. You can get it both Coles and Woolies. It was Australian owned, then it was bought out and it's been re-bought back into Australian owned company. So that cheers me up immensely. If this was super runny, I might add some cream, but I'm actually having a look at it thinking, you know what, I don't reckon I need to add cream. So I'm going to show you again. It doesn't look that appealing. It doesn't matter. It will be delicious. So then, I think, right, so I've got some protein. You know, I have protein. I've got a couple of veggies, so I'm going to go and get the cauliflower out of the oven. Now, peas. Again, this is a no chop, nothing in my fridge recipe. Yes, Woolies sell the big ones, only Coles sell the little ones. You can get pure cream from Aldi. It's obviously not this brand and it's in a plastic container rather than a carton. Now, peas. Oh, look at us, Hannah. We're twinsies. Aldi has a pure cream too. So people go, peas, are peas low carb? Do you know what? Remember, you're not eating truckloads of peas. We're just putting some into the recipe. I like a bit of green stuff. I have been relying a lot on spinach lately. I'm sort of a bit sick of spinach. So I'm just going to put some peas in, frozen, and I don't know, there was maybe half a packet left, whatever was there. And I'm just going to mix that through. Now, I do need a bit of flavour because otherwise this would be a bit bland. So my flavour, you can use whatever you like. If you had garlic powder and onion powder, you could put that in. I, of course, have some pre-mixed something or other, giving it a shake because you know my brand. These don't have any cake separators. What are they called? Anti-caking agents. So I'm just using garlic. It's called garlic and dill or ranch. I don't know why. It goes really well with fish. I use it a lot on salmon fillets, and I'll just whack a bit in. A bit of a lump came through. That's quite garlicky looking, and because I always have a lot of salt, a bit of lemon zest would be lovely with that if you have some kicking around the fruit bowl. No, I don't, weirdly, but I might. You're right, lemon zest would be quite zesty. Bit of salt. Again, I don't care what salt you like. You can have this, with this one, well, when I say I don't care, I kind of do. So this one I have, but as soon as it's finished, I'm probably not going to buy it. Himalayan salt. It is an old salt, but I think it's probably not that good for the environment. So next time I'll buy something a little close to Australia and maybe get some Murray River pink salt. I like the flavour of the pink. So, like seriously, that's it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sneak off over here. I'll be 1 second. I'm going to get the cauliflower, which has been roasting in the oven at the bottom of my tray. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I have muscular dystrophy. It gives me the wonkiest walk of all time. It is. Now, people go, what is muscular dystrophy? So while you're here, I'm going to give you a little lesson. It is a muscle wasting disease. Not that great. It's inherited. My dad has it. My auntie has it. A couple of my cousins have it. Fortunately, my kids don't, and that's actually just good luck. So I'm blessed for them. People go, is it painful? And it's not, but I do get tired. So I will tell you that. If you've got any other questions, I'm really happy to answer them. People go, are you on any treatment? The answer is no. Is there any cure? The answer is no. What can you do about it? The answer is live my life. There you go. I'll be back in a sec with my cauliflower. This is good. So basically I didn't do anything fancy. I didn't even drizzle it in oil. I've basically just having a look. Yeah, you can see that. It's frozen. I just put it straight in frozen. It's roasted. It started to caramelize up. It's certainly soft. You could probably do it for a tiny bit longer if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. The other thing I'm going to brag about, I'm bragging today. Look at my cheese. So this was a lump of cheese. Normally I do buy my cheese in a packet, and I know it's not the best. I know it comes in plastic, and I know it has anti-caking agent. Remember, what I'm trying to show you here is how to cook real food real fast, and sometimes that means some shortcuts. However, tonight I'd like a medal because I actually grated my own cheese. When I say grated, I banged it into the Thermomix and it did it for me. But I'm pretty happy with myself. And the reason I did that was because I went to the cupboard and the cupboard was bare with no grated cheese. So I thought, oh, what am I going to, what should I do? Well, hello, you can actually grate your own cheese, Lucy. Wow, who knew? So then basically I'm just going to bang this in. Like seriously, this is the easiest dish in the world. So it's got lots of protein because it's got tuna and cheese. The ricotta. The ricotta's pretty good in the protein department. I'll tell you in a minute exactly how much protein. So I'm a bit obsessed with food labels. So if I go to my food label, protein per 100 grams, it's got nearly 9 grams of protein. There's 500 grams in it. So this dish has 45 grams of protein. Now, it's nowhere near as good as meat, don't get me wrong. Meat is the best as far as protein goes because you get between 20 to 23 grams of protein per 100 grams. The tuna was in seawater, in spring water, and the tuna has 26 grams of protein. So there you go, that's pretty good. You could certainly put, and that's 500 grams there. So basically, seriously easy dish, and then I get my hand grated cheese and pop this on. So I'm going to go and whack this in the oven and then we're going to chat because this seriously the quickest dish in the world. So I reckon that'll go in. It's all cooked. The cauliflower was cooked, the tuna, the peas are raw, but they'll cook up quite okay. And I'm just going to put in quite a lot of cheese because we like cheese. And spread that around. And then I've got a lovely thing that we're going to talk about today because we're going to talk about Easter eating. Okay? So stay with me, darlings, while I zip off. Whack this in the oven so that by the time I've finished talking to you, my dinner's ready. I won't be a minute. Well, I will be 1 minute. Okay. Right, that makes me happy because that's all ready to go. So, lovelies, give me a hand if you're worried about Easter. Are you may not be, okay? Not everyone is. I'm not worried about it, but I've managed my mind very well about Easter. So, who's worried? Who's on a plan and they're worried they're going to fall off the wagon? Just give me a little hands up if that's you guys. If you're not, great. We don't need to worry. But what I'm going to do, look at this leaning forward thing. I think this is quite good. What I would like to tell you, oh, Fiona feels good, excellent. What you need to do, lovelies, is have a plan. The plan can be whatever you like. Good, Lee's just checking in. Katie said she's a bit scared. Rachel's not worried, excellent. You don't have to be worried, okay? You only have to be, chocolate might be your downfall. Sheena's a little, she's going away for a few days and Lee is worried. So, okay, and Tara's worried about the false advertisement of no added sugar chocolate that is full of maltitol. Correct? Correct. So there's a couple of ways. You can decide how you want to do Easter, okay? You can decide. The first thing to remember is that marketing around Easter is involved in scarcity mentality, okay? Humans are very susceptible to scarcity. Part of our DNA, when we lived in tribes, there literally was scarcity because a bush that had fruit needed to all be eaten because there would be no bush. There's no replenishing bush in the olden days. So what I want you to be thinking about is that there is no scarcity. Jodie's worried too. She's visiting her family, which is stressful. So the first thing to come into the idea is that you could eat chocolate. Oh, Trish, I'm going to talk to you about that. Easter chocolate for kids too. You can eat chocolate. You're a grown-up. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Understanding, of course, that there are consequences. And the consequences are unique to each person. So for me, eating sugar turns me into makes my brain nuts. It makes me think about food all the time. It makes me hungry. It makes me, I go back. And so the chatter is what I hate. I really dislike it. It makes me, I just don't like, I don't like it. I don't want the chatter. I have tried many times to think I can get away with having a little bit and there'll be no chatter. I now know myself very well. That is not true. I cannot get away with having a little bit because there will be chatter. And then I have to deal with the chatter. This is the fluffy concept, the 3 heads of fluffy that I've talked about. So for those of you who don't know, Fluffy is the 3-headed dog in Harry Potter who's guarding the Chamber of Secrets. He's sound asleep because, in my world, he is sound asleep because he's not eating any carbs. If I have more carbs than I really should, one head wakes up and starts sniffing around. And if I don't put that head straight back to sleep, i.e. go nowhere near anything, then I've got the 2nd head and the 3rd head, and then I've got a carb craving maniac dog inside that makes my life really, really difficult. And the thing is that the anticipation of that food is always better than the actual food. Do you find that when you've been off carbs for a while, you think that this food is going to be good, and when you actually have a little taste of it, actually it's not that good. The thing is, we still finish it. Well, we need to keep reminding ourselves that the promise of the chocolate is way more attractive than the actual chocolate. It's an illusion. It is a falsity. It truly is. Have any of you, and I've talked a bit about this week with anybody who's come to see me in the clinic, have you ever had a friend or a boyfriend or girlfriend, depending, who lets you down, who kind of promises all this stuff and then they let you down? And when they do that, it makes you feel a little bit shit about yourself. And then sometimes you think, I'll give them another chance. And so you have another go and you feel a little bit shit about yourself again because they promise all this stuff and they don't deliver. That, my loves, is Easter food. The Easter food promises so much more than what it delivers. It really isn't worth it. Now, if it was worth it, you would do this. You would eat the food, the taste, and then you'd spit it out. But we don't do that. And quite often, when you've got the 3-headed fluffy dog awake, you're not even savouring your food. You're just wolfing it down, or you're eating it in a hurry so no one catches you, or you're eating it in shame, or you're eating it sort of in secret. So that was me, a secret, shameful, sneaky eater, hoping that no one caught me in the act. That is not one of life's pleasures, but that's what we tell ourselves. We hear, and it's not just us. Remember, think about the wording, think about the language. How many times have you heard this phrase, guilty pleasure? I can tell you, they don't go together. There is no guilty pleasure. Guilt is unpleasurable. How many times have you heard guilt-free treat? That's an illusion. There is no guilt-free anything in the world of snack food. And the other thing is that it's called snack food. It used to be called junk food. It's not called that anymore. Who do you reckon's come up with that idea? It used to be called junk food, but the junk food industry has woven its way into our lives and rebranded themselves as snack food, to the point that we all think that we need snacks. People go, what am I going to have for a snack? What they really mean is, what junk am I going to eat? Nothing. There is no junk. Well, again, for me, there is no junk, because when I eat junk, Fluffy wakes up. The junk never tastes as good as I think it's going to be, and then I'm battling that crazy craving in there that turns me into a lunatic, where I just then start wolfing, sneaking back to all of those things that bring me no pleasure. So one of the things again, you can do whatever suits you. You may find that you are one of those people that can have a little bit and it's no big deal for you. But if you know yourself well, you will know whether that is actually true or not. So my friends, what I would say to you is this Easter, do whatever you want. It's up to you. You're a grown-up. You're in charge of you. But what you promise yourself, you stick to. So if you promise yourself that you are going to have nothing over Easter, you stick to that. You promise yourself you're having one egg, you stick to that. And if you wonder, if you are worried that you're not going to stick to that, then you make your promise that you're only going to have one a day. Whatever it is, whatever your plan is, be true to yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only person who is your judge is you. And the only person who is actually having any consequence of what you decide to do is you. Okay? It makes no difference to anybody else what you decide to do. Because remember, another one of my new favorite things, eating is not a team sport. So if somebody wants you to eat Easter eggs with them because it'll make them feel better, that's not your job. If somebody wants, I'll answer that, do kids truly need snacks? Sometimes is the answer. But if you don't want to eat something, you're in charge of you and you can say no thanks. Question from Tara, do kids truly need snacks? The answer is sometimes, and the reason for that, children, active children, okay? Active children burn their fuel. In the old days, that's what we all used to be. We were very active, we burnt our fuel. Activity levels have decreased and the type of fuel that we've had has increased. So we're now much more carb heavy and low fat and much more sedentary. So if children are going to have a snack is meant to be just a little small meal, like something between a meal. It doesn't have to be sugary junk. A snack can be a boiled egg. A snack can be some nuts. A snack can be some celery with some peanut butter. And the thing is that it doesn't we do not, as humans, need to eat 6 times a day. If we did, think about it. When we were, our humans have been evolving for hundreds of thousands of years. Obesity has only been a problem in the last, say, 40 years. If we go back even before that, before the Industrial Revolution, which is really only a few hundred years ago, we used to have to, hunt and catch food. That's what we did. We did it, and if we go even back further, well, before kind of guns changed the thing, we used tools, maybe spears and bows and arrows or whatever, but we don't have any tools. We don't have any claws. We don't have scales. We're quite defenseless, really, unless we're in a tribe where we actually use our brain. So we've got then, somebody's the sentry, somebody's making the tools, somebody's, making the loud noise. If you're a solo person on the savannah of Africa, you're defenseless. So if we had to do that back in those days and go out 6 times a day to get a snack, can you imagine? We'd all be dead. We would all be dead because we've snuck out to get about a handful of berries and there's a lion waiting for us. So the thing is that as adults, we don't even need 3 meals a day. We've been conditioned to believe that. I usually have 1 or 2 meals a day. That's it. I haven't had 3 meals a day for a long time. I don't need it, okay? Again, I don't need it. But when you ditch processed food and refined carbs, so that includes wheat and flour. Flour is really a processed food. When you get rid of that, you have the ability to be in tune with your own hunger. Oh, it is so good to not be thinking about food all the time. It's like a revelation. I can think about other things because I'm not often thinking, oh, I wonder what I'm going to have. I wonder what snack I could have. I wonder what I'm going to have here or there. I wonder what's for dinner. I've got no idea. I'll just go and whack something into the fridge. So food. Food is a necessity. Food's primary things, fuel and nutrition. Now, here's the other thing. If you're a little bit hungry, food is delicious. If you're never hungry, food is nothing. It's not that exciting. That's why we then go, oh, really, chops? I don't want to eat them. Oh, here's a, crunchy nut cornflakey thing. Yes, I'm just missing that. Bronwyn went to school. Yes, she's 63, went to school. Yes, she took to school a piece of fruit, a sandwich. Yep. And again, that's, these days, you open up kids' lunch boxes and there's millions of little things, a packet of tiny teddies and a go-gurt thing and a yogurty hoo-ha, maybe a wrap. And again, it's tricky. There's the nut issue and egg issue. So there are some restrictions. I realise it's easy for me to sort of preach and it's not always practical. But what we need to do, the one thing we can do for ourselves is to eat real food. For Easter, whatever your plan is, you decide and you stick to it. And that's the deal, okay? I will not be, I don't eat Easter eggs. I do eat still my 95% Lindt chocolate. I'll have some of that. I don't eat Easter buns. For the first year when I was low carb, I had a slight hankering. And then I thought, really, Easter buns? Raisin toast is available all year round. Hot cross buns are nothing special. You can get, if you want, you can have a raisin toast whenever you want. So this idea of the scarcity model, that's how they get us in. Oh, hot cross buns, you're only going to have them for a limited time. Oh, choc 2 pop cross buns. You can buy that sort of shit any old day. Easter eggs, oh, I'm never going to have a chocolate bunny again. I mean, seriously, we know. You can get chocolate whenever you want. There is no scarcity. It's a marketing trick. My lovely darlings, I reckon my thing might be ready. We'll go and have a look in a minute. In fact, I'll go and have a quick look now because if it's ready, I'll show it to you, as if you've never seen a baked tuna, but you never know. Not quite ready. So, my lovelies, have a wonderful evening. I reckon that'll be another 10 minutes. When I was young, you had to eat everything on your plate. Couldn't leave the table till we did it, even if we weren't. I know, what a load of bullshit, hey? Because there were children starving in Africa. Me too. And that's rubbish. Again, the difference to two things that were different back in the slightly olden days. We had little plates, okay? The plates weren't like they are now. Okay, so even the food that was on your plate was not as massive as now. But that mantra has stuck in our heads that food wastage is the equivalent of murder. But your body is not the bin. So if you're full and there's something on the plate, you get rid of it. Doesn't matter how, you're not the bin. Put it in the bin, give it to the dog if it doesn't have onion in it. Again, be careful. We often feed scraps to the dogs and the dogs are actually obese these days as well. So just sometimes it is actually all right to throw it out. And know that next time you probably don't need to put as much on your plate. Darlings, I'll see you tomorrow morning in our Facebook group because remember, 8 a.m. lives. I am deconstructing the comparison myth and talking about that. So if you want a little 5-minute pep talk, that's in the group. The low carb, I was about to call it low carb down under, the low carb real food group. And if you're on our page, you can just join that if you're not already in. Most of you are in, so I'll see you there in the morning. Bye, darlings. Have a wonderful evening. And I'm going to come around and learn how to turn this off, hopefully without you seeing my entire nose in the process. Bye, darlings.